A grown woman, that's the shit I don't like. 18-year-old, that's the shit I don't like. A little girl, that's the shit I do like. A 5-year-old, that's the shit I do like.
Oh, we got different life plans, I know. Trying to do what I can, so don't go.
Hey, now I know my last video on Cosmodore was intended to be my last video on Cosmodore, however I learned a lot more information in my private discussion with Cosmodore that I've decided to implement into this video as a final closing statement about Cosmodore's actions and how they are trying to learn. However, obviously, I don't believe Cosmodore should have a platform online again, and I've expressed as much to them in private as they are very clearly a danger to multiple minors, and they clearly haven't gotten themselves the help they need and are instead constantly making more social media posts and putting themselves back in a situation where they could end up taking advantage of more minors. Though, before I go into my private chats with Cosmodore and all of the messages that I'll be discussing today, I'd like to make two things clear. One, if you see a message that's censored by pixelation, that's because I had to take it out because it had confidential information or information that other parties have asked me to redact, including Cosmodore, victims I've spoken to, and more. And also, if you see a black box over something, it's because I've had to censor it for the sake of getting this video monetized so that it can be seen by more people on the YouTube platform, because even though I don't really want to monetize this video, I kinda have to if I want this video to be seen by more people. Also, quick disclaimer to put in just in the intro, this video is not intended to incite harassment, hatred, or otherwise any kind of targeting in any way. This video is intended to give my own opinion and express some of the evidence I've seen in private discussions with Cosmodore that would highlight Cosmodore to be a problematic creator that does need to be taken off of social media platforms. However, that does not mean that you have a right to harass them or harass anyone else mentioned at any point in this video, as that would not only go exactly against the point of criticism and getting people the help they need, but would also actively make you a bad person as well. We don't fight bad behavior with bad behavior on this channel because it makes everyone else just as bad. Now, with that being said, before I begin, if you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. I make videos every single day. We're like 800 subs away from 40,000, which every time I say that number, it hits me in more and more ways because I don't really recognize or appreciate how big that number is, how many people actively support me until I look at the number and I think about it, and then every time I think about how little I deserve this and how much you guys mean to me. Thank you for that support. If you'd like to join the group of subscribers on the channel, consider subscribing, it would be highly appreciated. You can also check out my other social media down below, and if you'd like to support me financially through the join button, that would just be incredibly appreciated, as I put a lot of work into this channel and your support does really mean a lot and allows me to invest more into it, but also so I can afford the things I need in real life as well. With that being said though, I'm going to stop prolonging the intro now. Let's get right into my conversation with Cosmodore. In my conversations with Cosmodore, they mentioned many things, those of which I'm going to cover in bullet point fashion as I go through everything that was said in this conversation to an extent that I can share, and explaining how all of these things are incredibly bad. First, Cosmodore explained to me that they do plan to return to YouTube, however not at the moment, and I believe that's an incredibly bad decision, especially because they clearly haven't learned from their decisions, and it's clearly only been a short time since they last engaged in these actions, and as such they are at privy to risk of doing these actions again if put in a bad situation, which would make this situation become even worse. So I advise Cosmodore to not return to YouTube and instead focus on the other job they recently reacquired in their real life. And also, Cosmodore said that, despite what I said in my previous video, their DMs were apparently closed, however I could still contact them. Though that doesn't change my problem that they were still reading and replying to DMs, and also they exclaimed later that they were still in contact with one of their victims because of particular circumstance, which I still believe is a problem, as they shouldn't be involving themselves in the people that they were taking advantage of, as that continues to perpetuate the problem and puts them in a situation where this could become an even worse predicament than before, with those minors continuing to be taken advantage of. Furthermore, Cosmodore admitted to trying to start a relationship with 3 different minors and having contact with even more, which is a huge problem, as obviously 3 victims plus whatever else he was sending inappropriate messages towards or trying to send inappropriate messages towards highlights a pattern of behavior in which Cosmodore was involving themselves in criminal ways, committing crimes against kids in multiple different scenarios, and highlights the fact that this could continue to happen over and over again, and that obviously Cosmodore does not deserve their platform back, ever, especially because they've continued to harm minors, continued to involve themselves in illegal ways with minors, and continue to make justifications for that all of this time, with later on I'll explain how they continue to make more excuses for it. Cosmodore exclaimed to me though that they have never committed any crimes with minors IRL, which is a good thing as it means that they haven't crossed that line to physical crimes, which is good because I would hate for anyone to be hurt in that way, and obviously that would mean Cosmodore would deserve jail for life, because that would be insanely criminal and incredibly disgusting. However, Cosmodore did admit to me to receiving images of minors in a lack of clothing with graphic depictions of them, which would be incredibly criminal content, which would be graphic photos of minors, referring to my keywords in the intro, which would be highly illegal, highly disgusting, and is highly criminal. The fact that Cosmodore has engaged in these actions of multiple minors and admitted to it is a huge problem, and there should be no questioning that. Cosmodore should not return to this platform. In fact, I'd argue Cosmodore should lose their platform entirely, as they've taken advantage of that platform and used it in ways that are criminal, involved themselves with minors in ways that are criminal, and justified those behaviors for far too long, and they're still in a predicament where they're continuing to message some of the minors, which puts them in a situation where this could happen again. Cosmodore does not deserve their platform, especially because there are ways to still contact them on that platform. As such, it means that this behavior could continue into the future. Cosmodore should, in my opinion, be in jail getting help for their behavior. Cosmodore also explained to me that at this point they have not been reached out to by any law enforcement. However, when I questioned them, they said that they believe they will be contacted by the police, and if they are contacted by the police, they will accept any punishment placed against them. Also, I questioned Cosmodore, and they said that they believe that they are mentally capable of understanding what they did, so there's no excuse here of insanity or anything else that would rule them out of taking any legal backlash for this behavior. I believe, just like Cosmodore does, that they are legally capable of understanding what they did, and they knew what they did was wrong and committed those crimes knowingly, as they've admitted multiple times. As such, I'd argue Cosmodore should legally be held responsible for this behavior. Cosmodore also said that they don't think they're the character from the film Predator, if you know what I'm saying, and that their therapist doesn't either, which I'd argue is up to debate, as they have involved themselves with multiple minors and had no issue, according to themselves, with age. They even said in one of their messages that in the past they didn't see age as an issue, which I'd argue would make them a predator from the film. However, at this point, I feel like that's all up to legal debate, so I'm going to state that as alleged and leave it there, because Cosmodore argues they've also had relationships with people of age, so I'd leave that up to the debate of a legal system, and I'm just stating that as allegations. Furthermore, Cosmodore, as I mentioned, said they didn't see issue with age in the past, which debunks all of their previous defenses, as they're admitting to not having an issue with dating minors in the past, as they saw no issue with the age gap, or age difference, or legal age of being able to agree to that kind of behavior. However, they state that they don't believe they would ever commit crimes against kids again. However, I believe again that is up to debate, as clearly one wrong step in this situation could lead to Cosmodore going the whole way back into that behavior again, and I believe it's highly possible that they will in this situation. As such, I don't buy their belief here, and as such, I am still concerned and believe that Cosmodore shouldn't be in a position where they can contact minors. I advise Cosmodore to delete all social media, remove all contact methods, stop monetizing their content, and to stop making apologies, which they rebutted, saying they needed the money and kept their contact methods for business. So, I'd argue, what is the point with them even removing comments on their social media platforms and disabling DMs in the first place if contact methods still exist? And again, that changes nothing, because minors can still get in contact with them, and this situation can repeat itself over and over again because there are contact methods available on their channel still. They also said even if they deleted their social media accounts, they'd probably return, which highlights an unhealthy addiction to social media and their platform, which becomes an even bigger problem, as it means that they are incapable of stepping back away from it, and I'd argue that's something they need to tackle in therapy. I also asked Cosmodore if they think they're a danger to themselves and others, to which they said that they're trying not to be, and that they recognize nobody deserves to be in the crossfire of their actions, especially not fans and minors. However, that doesn't change the fact that fans and minors could still be caught in that crossfire, and I'd argue it's a dangerous situation, which is why I only approached Cosmodore in private messages, because I had adults and guardians around me that were making sure that I was safe and protected in this situation, because I believe Cosmodore is not someone that any minor should be engaging with under any circumstance, as Cosmodore could very easily get themselves involved in criminal ways with these minors again. Cosmodore explained also that a former friend told them not to mention a particular victim by name, and Cosmodore has respected that on their videos to give them credit. However, they were very quick to actually mention them by name in my messages, and the victim themselves actually came to me and said I should mention that in this video. However, obviously I've censored their name for privacy reasons. Obviously, the fact that Cosmodore is still willing to share their name in private goes against the request that people have made for them not to mention their name, and it highlights how quick Cosmodore is to bring up that victim again and bring them back to the trauma that they're trying not to involve them in, which shows a clear lack of care for that person's privacy or request. Cosmodore also told me that their therapist actually did tell them to continue making videos because another German YouTuber was apparently in the same situation and approaching the situation in the same way, which I believe is poor advice in my opinion, as it enables the initial problem of Cosmodore involving themselves in crimes with kids that were in their fan base. Cosmodore says they don't agree with their therapist though, but also that they keep making apology and response videos despite their therapist disagreeing with that approach. I'd argue Cosmodore shouldn't be on social media, shouldn't be making videos full stop, and shouldn't be involving themselves with their community in any way through contact links. I'd argue that Cosmodore does not deserve to have an online job, does not deserve to be able to promote themselves for an editing job, or anything to that extent. I'd argue Cosmodore is someone that shouldn't have a social media platform, shouldn't be involving themselves with minors, shouldn't be allowed to try and benefit or profit from social media, and I believe their therapist is making a poor decision, a poor lack in judgment decision of arguing that Cosmodore should continue making content because it puts Cosmodore in the same position where they could continue to take advantage of minors, and I'd argue that's a step that no one should take the risk of accepting. With that being said, I think I've said everything I need to though. With that said, I'd like to thank my channel members, Spit Biscuit, Alec the Shark, Monsters Things, Gherkin, and Mr. Skullface Garcia. All of you donate to the channel, and it supports this content highly. I do appreciate anyone that becomes a channel member. It's very easy to do if you just want to click the join button, and you can choose how much you'd like to donate, and it would be highly appreciated on a whole. With that being said, thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing, as it would be highly appreciated, and it would mean that your support helps me make more videos just like this one, and you get to watch more if this video helped inform you on a new situation, or provided you information or opinions that may change your own. With that being said, feel free to check out my other videos, feel free to click the links down below to support me on other platforms, and with that being said, I'll see you next time. I hope you had a great day. I hope this video has helped you understand the situation, and I hope this video does cement the last time Cosmodore spoke about online and the last time Cosmodore does these actions ever again. Obviously, the fact that Cosmodore may stop doesn't change anything for the previously harmed victims, and obviously my heart will always go out to the people that have been affected by Cosmodore. I am currently in contact with one of the victims, and I'm trying to get them the help that they need because I feel it's important that they get that. With that being said, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Says she wanna rock when it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap when it like me. We can catch a fly. Says she wanna rock when it like me.